ESPN Plus and WWE. Partnership confirmed. We're going to break everything down detail by detail, note by note. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to... You're listening to the Wrestling Takeover. What is your name? With your host, Jordan Turner, who's always going to keep it real.
Come on, King.
Inside and outside the ring.
Let me make myself clear.
He's got the fans behind him, King.
It's time to take over, King.
Are you ready?
He's all fired up now, King. The Takeover.
Let's go.
Let's get it started. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know the vibes, man. Welcome everybody back to the Wrestling Takeover podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Turner. And man, listen, man. Y'all know what we finna talk about. I'm going to dissect every single news report, tweet, everything. I have it all here on my phone. I'm looking at it. We're going to go from detail to detail, analyzing the good and the bad of the breaking news that took place today. This is crazy. So, the WWE, as you guys know, is partnering up with ESPN Plus. ESPN, the worldwide sporting network, right? WWE wants to clarify them as the worldwide leader in professional wrestling. That is very subjective. I am going to give you guys my honest opinion from a fan's perspective. I have every report here that I possibly can conjure up here. And we're going to break this down. This is a big story, and I did not want to wait until Thursday to talk about this. We're going to talk about it here. You guys know the deal. Social media, follow me. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/JTTakeover. Also subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio content. This is the most creative and honest podcast in the space. But we got to get into it, man. WWE and ESPN confirmed. Breaking news, WWE Premier Live events. I want to make that clear. These are only Premier Live events. WWE Premier Live Events is headed to ESPN platforms in the U.S. beginning in 2026. So I'm assuming, just like everybody else, okay, it's going to be the Royal Rumble that is going to be the first pay-per-view to stream on ESPN Plus. For me personally, I'm not shocked at this actual news. Like, laying the groundwork right now, me as a fan, I'm not shocked about this. And here's the reason why I'm not shocked, because I've talked about this. I've talked about this specifically when it was rumored that the WWE pay-per-view rights were already a free agent and Peacock ultimately got it. I specifically said, okay, they're on Peacock, but the final destination, no pun intended, the final destination for these Premier Live events, we heard Amazon, we heard all this stuff. No, it was always going to be ESPN. So when I woke up, scrolling on social media, right there in plain sight, the WWE and ESPN partnership, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Is this a big story? Of course. This is one of the biggest stories in WWE history, quite frankly. This is a massive deal. There's positives, there's negatives, pros and cons regarding this situation. I want to let everybody know now that this was in the works for a very long time. WWE was always going to go to ESPN. They went to Peacock for a pit stop. Their ultimate goal, their ultimate destination was always going to be ESPN Plus. How do I know that? I have no news sources. I'm just speaking. But I'm speaking with common logic. You guys should have known for those who are, really not in tune into the WWE product like that. Okay, you guys, I understand why you're shocked about this. But for the ones that are weekly, like myself, we keep up to date with everything with the WWE product. We shouldn't really be surprised. This was always going to happen. It was just a matter of when and not if. So this is the breaking news. We're going to get into the reports. So let's get into them. So Disney is paying $1.6 billion with the B. Let me repeat that. Disney is paying $1.6 billion for the WWE streaming rights. The 5-year deal will begin in 2026 and includes the U.S. streaming rights to WWE Premier Live events. People are saying, are they going to go back to calling it the pay-per-view model? I mean, I would at this point. It kind of makes sense, but you have the Premier Live events slogan that has been going on for many years, so why not? That wouldn't make sense to change it, but I understand why people say they should probably go back to calling it pay-per-views. That's here nor there, though. It would air on ESPN, and we'll see the Disney-owned company pay $325 million per year to WWE for the broadcast rights. WWE's Premier Live events offerings are set to debut on ESPN streaming services, which is planned to launch later this year. That's interesting. Later this year, and will cost $30 a month. Now, I want to get to the $30 a month situation because I needed to get clarification. I needed to get answers because a lot of people, like myself, we all thought, okay, so they're talking about right now you have the big 5 pay-per-views. You have WrestleMania, you have Royal Rumble, you have Survivor Series, you have SummerSlam, and you have Money in the Bank. Those 5 Premier Live events are going to be on ESPN. ESPN Plus, ESPN, whatever you call it. Are we going to get the whole pay-per-view schedule? I believe we will. They're not just going to put out the 5 pay-per-views and we're not going to get the other pay-per-views. You know what I mean? This has nothing to do with NXT, by the way. I will be breaking down regarding NXT and their portion because this is an adverse effect on NXT as well. I will be breaking down that later on. Alex Shermore, because everybody was, listen, we were all just losing our minds about this. What about the pay-per-views? Is it all going to be on one platform? Is it going to be the model of UFC? Myself, I was nervous. I thought the WWE, they still might do this. I thought the WWE was going to have what UFC has currently right now. You have to, you have ESPN Plus. You're paying for that. But for you to unlock the UFC pay-per-view, you have to pay an additional fee. That is where a lot of us fans were freaking out about. Now, I don't know Alex Shermore. I don't know how credible he is. I have no idea. I seen this, tweet put out, and I want to give you guys my opinion on it, all right? He puts out on Twitter, to answer a question I've now, received several times, quote unquote, there will be no upcharge on the WWE Premier Live events from ESPN Plus. You will get all of them with your $29.99 per month subscription. A cable subs will automatically get the ESPN DC product through automation. So pretty much what Alex is saying, we're getting every single Premier Live event, main roster. This has nothing to do with NXT. We're going to get all of those Premier Live events for $30 a month. Gone are the days of the WWE Network. Gone are the days of Peacock, where it's $5 a month, $10 a month, even $14 a month with Peacock. That wasn't that bad. $30 a month, people were tripping. People were tripping because we didn't get no clarification. We didn't get no confirmation. We didn't get no information at all in relation to, is this going to be a bundle in terms of, okay, ESPN and WWE Premier Live events for $30, a month to get all of the pay-per-views, or was WWE going to do the UFC model? Because I'm telling you, I knew them motherfuckers were probably thinking of doing something like that. And if that was an actual decision, and if they were actually going to do that, I'm telling you right now, they would have lost a lot of fans. For real. They would have lost a lot of people. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. By the way, UFC, you need to change your fucking pay-per-view model. Because guess what? No motherfucker is going to pay ESPN Plus and also having to go and pay for the UFC pay-per-view. The UFC pay-per-views are locked. You have to go into ESPN Plus and you have to physically pay to watch the UFC fights. That's why y'all weren't getting the deal of investment. That's why y'all weren't getting that type of number that y'all wanted to generate. Y'all kept locking the pay-per-views. We got to pay ESPN and pay UFC. You got me fucked up. Not doing that. And I'm a big UFC guy. I was not doing that. I never did that. I always found different avenues to watch UFC. Or I'll just see it on social media. Someone's always streaming it somewhere. That was the attitude that I thought we were going to get with the WWE Premier Live events. And I want to talk about the Premier Live events. I want to talk to Triple H. I want to talk to everybody from a business standpoint from WWE. If this is what we're going to do, where we get all of the Premier Live events in one umbrella and it's $30 per month to get all the pay-per-views, they're not doing the UFC model. Okay, cool. But I'm telling you right now, I said this the first time when this was rumored that Peacock, ESPN Plus was in the bidding. You feel me? Amazon Prime was in the bidding. Netflix was in the bidding the first time where they have the pay-per-view rights to potentially go to a new streaming service. I specifically said, if that is the case, WWE, you need to do something to where the fan base is enjoying the pay-per-views. I'm going to take SummerSlam as a prime example, and it's ultimately going to make sense in what I'm saying. For me, in my opinion, I thought SummerSlam was not really a good show on both night 1 and night 2. There were matches on that show that were not entertaining. There were matches on night 1 and night 2 that I really didn't care for when it was all said and done. And I tattled everything. Out of 13 to 14 matches from night 1 and night 2, I actually only enjoyed like 6 matches out of 13. When you think of common sense, that's not a good show. 6 out of 13 matches was good. 6 out of 14 matches was good. To me, that's not a thumbs up show. That means these other matches were not that interesting. So WWE, what I'm pretty much saying is you need to put in a lot of creative investment in every single match, every single storyline. You cannot use just random individuals. It needs to make sense. You need to have story. You need to have character development. If you're putting this shit on ESPN, ESPN Plus, whatever you call it. You know, WWE has gotten away of half-assing shit. I'm not scared to call them out. I love WWE. I really do. I want to be in the business. That's my dream. I would love to do that. But I am not afraid to call WWE out on their bullshit. WWE, Triple H, everybody, got love for you guys. Y'all need to start buckling down with the characters, with the storylines, getting us, the fans, invested to get excited for SummerSlam, to get excited for WrestleMania, to get excited for a Survivor Series, a Money in the Bank, We always get excited for Royal Rumble, so that doesn't even count. But these other ones, we got to get excited for them. So you got to start putting quality things on television from a character standpoint, from a storytelling perspective. You need to put the best of the best on these Premier Live events. You need to put the best of the best on Monday Night Raw, on Friday Night SmackDown. Stop half-assing shit. That's what they're doing right now. They're half-assing shit because they know people are going to watch regardless. So why try? Nah, y'all niggas need to start trying more and more. Put more effort, put more creative into these characters, into these storylines. That's where my just opinion is regarding this situation. You need to give us more investment. You need us to give us a reason to really care about what we're watching. So from what I read right now, Alex Shermore, we don't know if he's credible or not, but they're saying that every pay-per-view is going to be streaming on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and it's going to be $30 a month. Now, I know people are freaking out, but if the conversation is true, and this confirmation is correct, we're getting all the Premier Live events. Yes, it's $30, but let's be real. Remember the old days? I'm talking about before the Netflix deal, or not Netflix, before the WWE network. Yeah, of course, before Netflix, whatever. But before the WWE network, do y'all niggas not remember we had to pay $50 out of pocket to watch a fucking Backlash? Now, WWE was popping back then, but still, for a Backlash, $30 on the surface, it sounds fucking ridiculous. And I think people are freaking out because then this is why we need clarification. I need more clarification than Alex Sherman. I need more clarification for this. I need clarification from Triple H. I need clarification from Nick Khan, WWE. I need clarification. Are you guys doing the UFC model? Because if you're doing the UFC model, you ain't getting nobody, bro. I'm going to tell you that right now off the rip. No cap, bro. You ain't getting none motherfucking fan, bro, that is going to pay for ESPN plus ESPN Plus and an additional fee. You got to pay to purchase the pay-per-view. We're not doing that shit. Got me fucked up. I'm not doing that shit. On a monthly basis, I'm not doing that shit. That is what people are complaining about. That's what people are bitching about, deservedly so. I'd bitch too. I was, because I immediately was thinking, are these niggas really going to do the UFC model? Because if you do the UFC model, you're going to lose your fan base. I'm going to tell you that right now. It might not be in droves, you understand, but you're going to lose some of your fan base. So I really hope this is the monthly $30 a month to get every pay-per-view from the main roster, every single one of them. Because if it's only the big five, we have a problem. So WWE, we need to get some clarification. All right, so I seen this tweet, and we got to move on. We got to talk about this. So this dude on Twitter, he put out a tweet. So the following WWE in the U.S. starting in 2026, you need ESPN Plus for the pay-per-views. You need Netflix for Monday Night Raw, cable for SmackDown, network no cost for NXT. Listen. The Netflix stuff, at one point, I legitimately thought we were going to get Monday Night Raw and the PLEs. But the PLEs are a different beast, though. And WWE is trying to get a more bang for their buck. Why would you include the pay-per-views and Raw where you can split them up? You get money from Monday Night Raw and you get money from the Premier Live events. So from a business standpoint, that makes sense. There's a lot going on here. I understand that. A lot of people are upset. I get it. Sean Ross Sapp on social media said, I spoke with someone at WWE who wanted to clarify. If you have ESPN through most traditional cable and satellite providers, you will have access to the new ESPN DTC that Premier Live events will be carried on. Oh, shit. I think I have that. I got to look into that. I think I had it. We'll see. That's real interesting. That's real interesting right there. Nick Khan. This is the guy right here, man. This is the guy that's dealing this stuff. Nick Khan is confident people who subscribed to Peacock for WWE Premier Live events will follow the product to be subscribers to ESPN Plus or to ESPN to continue watching their Premier Live events. Now, I have a question. Is it through, listen, if they have their pay, now see, it's got to be through ESPN Plus because I'm not making sense right now. What I was going to say was, wait, are we getting the Premier Live events on ESPN? No, we're getting it through ESPN Plus. I'll get to what is going to be on ESPN in a little bit. But this is what Nick Khan had to say. Will the subs follow the product to wherever the new platform is? I think we have demolished and demortated to Peacock. Our subs will follow. They certainly all followed from the WWE Network. And that expanded that subscription service and the subscribers exclusively with Peacock. And there's obviously other product at Peacock to watch, which our fans who subscribe premierly for us were able to sample. Same will be the case for ESPN. Oh, no cap. There's plenty of things on Peacock that I'm going to continue to watch, especially if we get some other wrestling companies on Peacock. I'm going to get to that in a little bit too. Man. I wanted to include some of that. I seen that news regarding TNA and maybe AAA. We're going to get into that actually right now. No, you know what? No, we're not. I want to talk about another thing regarding this whole news and development here. This is from Andrew Baydallas, someone who has some sources within the community, within the space. Great guy, really good at what he does. Shout out to him. He tweets out, currently we do not know what is included in each package or price tier for the ESPN direct-to-consumer service, which is launching on August 21st. WWE content will not be available until 2026. What we do know, users can also purchase an annual subscription for $300 per year. Yo, what the fuck? Nigga, $300 per year in addition to a select plan, which offers all content available on ESPN Plus for $12 per month or $119 per year. Wait, I thought it was $300 per year. Now he's saying is $119. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Current users, depending on their plan, will automatically become subscribers of the new service. Additionally, there will be a bundle option available with Disney Plus and Hulu, including an introductory offer of all three services for $30 for the first year. I imagine the WWE Premier Live events, UFC pay-per-views, and NFL content will be priced at $30 per month. If you guys do not remember, NFL is going to ESPN as well. Now, UFC, I don't know what UFC is doing. If they're going to stick with ESPN, I'm not sure. I heard a rumor that Dana White is looking to potentially move his company, UFC, to Netflix. I'm not sure about that. Don't hold my feet to the fire on that. I have no clue. But y'all did not remember. Yeah, ESPN has NFL as well too. NFL Network. It's all gonna be all of it is gonna be on ESPN. Now, a bundle with WWE and NFL would be fucking stupid. I don't see the benefit of that. Now, I do see a benefit and potentially a bundle with WWE Premier Live events and UFC pay-per-views, or WWE pay-per-views and UFC pay-per-views, depending on if UFC is going to remain on ESPN. ESPN's taking everything. They got UFC, they got the NFL now, and they have the WWE. Mickey Mouse ain't playing no games, bro. Mickey Mouse want all the smoke. He want all the smoke, bro. It's crazy. That's crazy. So we are now going to get into the TNA, AAA, TKO, all that shit. This is the interesting part of the video that I want to talk about. So Andrew Baydala, once again, on social media, he put out this. NBC University / Peacock is not out of the wrestling business. I want to make that clear. Peacock is apparently, through Andrew Baydala, is not out of the wrestling business. He says this is what he believes. So this isn't confirmed or anything like that. This is just him, what he's about to say. This is just his personal opinion. So let's check out what he has to say. I believe there is a strong possibility that you could see TNA, AAA, and NXT events on the streaming platform as TKO / WWE continues to spread their content across numerous different platforms. NBCU can save a significant amount of money spent on the streaming rights for the WWE Premium Live events while maintaining some live sports entertainment / pro wrestling content at a fraction of the cost of its previous agreement. AAA, TNA, NXT on Peacock? Man, no cap. I'm with that. I'm with that heavy. If I could potentially cover TNA, I'll do that. No doubt. I could do that. I actually hope this happens. And matter of fact, TNA is rumored to be having a big announcement soon regarding a potential partner with the streaming platform. If TNA goes to Peacock, I'm not getting rid of Peacock in general because not only do I watch my WWE on there, I watch other shows on there as well too. I'm one of the fans that I don't specifically use Peacock just for WWE. No, fuck that. I use it for other shit too. But if NXT, AAA, and TNA are on Peacock, why the fuck would you get rid of Peacock if you're a fan of AAA? If you're a fan of NXT and you're a fan of TNA, why would you get rid of Peacock? I know I'm not. Off the rip, off bat. If we get an announcement regarding this happening, I'm not getting rid of Peacock. What the fuck? Hell nah. I'm going to have to try to make it work with my finances. I'm going to try to make it work. I know it's tough out here on these streets. I understand. It is. It's hard for a lot of us out here, but we just got to make shit shake. That's it. Like I said, TNA as well, wanting to be on a streaming platform, I think Peacock would be the best bet. I think Peacock would be the best bet to put their TV and their pay-per-views. I think they need to put both of them on a streaming platform. And if Peacock is the streaming platform, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Now, what if the CW gets TNA and they have their weekly shows on the CW network intertwining with the NXT weekly shows, but their pay-per-views are on Peacock? That's another possibility as well, too, that I want to bring to everybody's attention. TNA can have their pay-per-views on Peacock, but have their, weekly shows on the CW. I think they need to leave Access TV. We all know this has been documented for years. You feel me? So that needs to happen. Are we going to have everything TNA on Peacock, their pay-per-views, and their weekly shows? Or are we going to split it up where their weekly shows are on the CW network and their pay-per-views are on Peacock? I'm with whatever, to be honest. I'm with whatever. You feel me? So y'all got to look out for that TNA announcement that I believe is coming this year regarding the pay-per-view rights. Maybe it's next year. Who knows? But if Peacock is in the interest of TNA, I'm with that. NXT, you already know. So I wouldn't be surprised if NBC Universal is wanting to still be in the wrestling business. And if they are, they definitely are going to cut costs because NXT is not that expensive and TNA is not that expensive, with AAA as well too. So AAA, TNA, and NXT on Peacock with their pay-per-views, it's a win-win for me as a wrestling fan. So we'll see what happens. Let's continue on with this conversation. Blake X on social media put a tweet out and explaining everything. And he explains why this is a chess move for WWE to TNA, AAA. It kind of seems like WWE wants to help TNA and wants to help AAA. Let's read into this. WWE's move to ESPN in 2026 marks the end of the Premier Live events on Peacock, but it doesn't mean Peacock is leaving the wrestling business. This is two people, or now this is three people that I have heard said this. Sources say WWE and TKO. Wow, this is interesting. WWE and TKO are supporting TNA's push for a $10 million streaming deal, with Peacock as the front runner. Wow, that's... Man, shout out to WWE for that, man, for real. Shout out to WWE for that and supporting TNA, man. Let's get TNA on a credible streaming platform that people have and people can watch on. I love this, man. Shout out to WWE for that. With the multi-year NXT, and this is the multi-year agreement with NXT and TNA, crossover already advanced. This gives NBC Universal a cost. So let me repeat that again, my bad. This gives NBC Universal a cost-effect replacement as WWE shifts to ESPN. Again, if NBC Universal is still going to be in the wrestling business, we need something to replace the WWE. Premier Live Events, WWE. And so if TNA and NXT, who is WWE, of course, come in and, effectively replace the WWE Premier Live Events, this makes sense. TNA's talks with Peacock aren't just about distribution. They're about repositioning. As WWE exits, TNA steps in. Quietly, NBC Universal is laying the groundwork for a new pipeline through TNA and AAA Lucha Libre. The chess moves and the chess boards are in motion. Are we going to get AAA and TNA on Peacock? What a time to be a WWE, of course WWE. But what a time to be a wrestling fan right now. Now listen, I understand we got ESPN Plus, we got the USA Network, we got the CW Network, we got Netflix, we got ESPN Plus, we got Peacock. I understand that. I get it. There's a lot of pro wrestling to watch and consume and all this other shit. I understand that. I hear y'all. That's frustrating as well. For me as a fan, that's frustrating. But man, as a TNA fan and as a AAA, I'm not a big AAA fan, but just for fans of AAA, this is great. This is great for you guys. And I can maybe cover some TNA content on the Wrestling Takeover. I would love to do so. So if they do go on Peacock, your boy's definitely going to be covering TNA. No doubt about it. No doubt. Even though this is mostly a WWE-based podcast. But TNA is affiliated with the WWE. Why not? It makes sense. But everything I covered, this is groundbreaking. This is crazy. There's pros and there's cons to this. Now, I do want to talk about that. I didn't find it, but pretty much what I seen on social media is that we are going to get, those post shows and stuff like that, and everything regarding what we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get, the post shows for WWE, and ESPN always wanted to potentially talk about with that. You know what I mean? I think we're going to get the post shows. I think we're going to get the, might not be the post shows, but the, I'm missing the word for it. We're going to get talk shows pretty much for the WWE, the pre-shows. There you go. The pre-shows. My bad, guys. We're definitely going to get, pre-shows potentially, taking place on ESPN and having these pre-shows and post-shows coverage on ESPN. So do not be surprised if we see Stephen A. and Molly and everybody at ESPN who's a fan of the WWE product, because now people at ESPN, they are going to gather people who are going to specifically talk about the WWE product. People at ESPN, if you guys need somebody to cover these reviews, I'm your boy. I'm here. I'll cover a WWE, a Premier Live event on ESPN. Let's get it done. Let's do it. But this is big, though. This is big. There's pros, there's cons. I'm curious to know how you guys feeling about this breaking news development. Let me know how you guys are feeling about it. Again, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/JTTakeover. Follow me on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know the vibes, man. I wanted to come up here, talk about it, give y'all guys my 2 cents and my honest opinion about how everything is shaking up right now. This is a big day for WWE from a business standpoint, but from a wrestling fan, this is a little too much. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of streaming services that we have to subscribe to just to watch the WWE, product. I get why they want to distribute other avenues for, pay-per-views and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and stuff, but I wish everything was under one umbrella. That's what I thought we were going to get, but we're not getting that. And WWE, I swear, do not go the UFC route with the pay-per-view model. You're going to lose a lot of fans. It needs to be all under one umbrella, and if it's $30 a pop to watch all of these pay-per-views, is what it is, man. Is what it is. But let me know how y'all feeling about it, and I'll catch y'all next time right here on the Wrestling Takeover Podcast, the most creative and honest podcast in the space. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know the vibes. I'll see y'all next time.